You know, I'm an inner city kid. I come from Newark, New Jersey. But I come from a time in the early 60s when I was born and lived through the 70s as a child. And the 80s was in my 20s, and I loved the 80s. The music, the dress, everything was just like unparalleled compared to now. I remember as a child, people were so much different then. When Christmas time came, people that you didn't know would speak to you in the street. It was as if they were trying to be on Santa's nice list as well. Yes, we had situations in our country. We had the Vietnam War going on. We were reeling from the assassinations of JFK, MLK, and RFK. Nixon in the 70s, well, we all know what happened there. But things were different then. Life was quieter. We were happier. Fast forward to today. You know, I grew up on the tail end of segregation. It was never like it was today. I don't care what anybody says. Racism is real. The bigots have been allowed out of the closet, and I thoroughly blame Donald J. Trump for that. Back in 2017, when he said that neo-Nazis were good people. Dude, no neo-Nazi is a good person. He's legacy KKK, and he brought that to the White House. And it's become basically an accepted norm with this guy that racism is all right. His war against DEI is preposterous. It's America for the white man. He doesn't want women or people of color to get ahead. This is not the America that I knew. There are veterans that have come home that have served 28, 30 years in the military who swore an oath to protect and defend and to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. And you know what they're saying? What did I fight for? Because look at what we're dealing with here. I don't care if you don't want to admit it. That's your own personal problem. But the facts don't change. Those tariffs that this fool installed, let me explain how this works to you. If you put a tariff on a microwave from China of 30%, and that microwave costs $100, 10% of $100 is $10. Times 3, which is 30%, that brings that microwave up from $100 to $30. So the manufacturer in China is charged that. And then he just builds it into the price of the microwave. So in effect, we are paying for the tariff. That's the end result. We are paying for it. Not them. They're getting their money back from us when we buy the item. Well, that's going to produce more building of things in the United States. Yeah, but dude, a lot of those things the components that go into these things come from China and Japan, who are being tariffed. So that means the parts that go in, they're paying a 30% tariff on that, which adds on to the price that we pay for the item. You want proof of that? Buy a Ford. Some of the Fords are made in Mexico. There's a tariff against Mexico. Mexico pays the tariff, but they add it onto the price of the parts that go into the Ford. We buy the Ford, we're paying the tariff. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The America First, if you didn't know, came from the Klan years ago. And it's back now. And when you're dealing with guys like Stephen Miller, who is an avowed Nazi, a racist ever since he was in high school, you're asking for trouble. And now you got it.